Have you ever been in the film room thinking you understand football? Then the film starts rolling. Suddenly, you forget everything. You don't even know what's going on. To my fans out there, you're kicked back, you're watching the game, and you're like, he's wide open. Why is he not throwing it? Just has your brain spinning like,
What? Bro.
and here's what nobody tells you, man. For my players out there, hustle does not build trust. What builds trust is knowing what's happening during the plays. And for my fans out there, it's time to stop guessing and start understanding why plays work or they fall apart. So look, in this video, I'm breaking down the 5 football habits that instantly boost football IQ, taking your guys' game and the fans' game to the next level. And by the end of this, my football players are going to be walking on the field feeling like this.
Yeah.
Alright, man. Honestly, though, one of these habits is so simple, most players completely ignore it. And it's usually the first thing coaches notice. Starts before the ball is even snapped. It's training your eyes. Players don't struggle because they're slow. They struggle because they're late. And lateness usually starts with your eyes. High IQ players don't wait for the play to tell them what's happening. They're already gathering information before the snap. Like when you look at JJ McCarthy here, he's scanning the field before the ball is even snapped. And that tells him exactly where to go with the ball. It even ends up moving the safety for an easy touchdown for him. Now, let's talk about what we should look for pre-snap. Alignment. The depth of the defensive backs or the safeties. Heck, even the freaking linebackers, man. Are they close to the line? Are they far away from the line? This is very important, especially for defensive backs and the linebackers. Then the next thing we look at is leverage. Are they outside or are they inside? And by this, it could be the linebacker. Are they outside or inside the guard? It could even be the D lineman, and especially the cornerbacks. Outside or inside leverage on cornerbacks for the wide receiver is very important for my young quarterbacks out there. The next thing we should look at is splits, whether that's the O-line splits being tight or wide, or the receiver splits. Are they tight? Are they wide? Are they stacked? Or are they unstacked? These little things are all important, especially when you add in motion, because that throws everybody into a chaos. The next thing that does really matter is down and distance. You have to be aware of situational football. If it's 3rd and 4 and your coach is like, yeah, we're going to run flood. You're like, okay, that's a good concept. But if it's 3rd and 4 and he calls 4 verticals, you're going to be like, what the heck are we doing, man? Man, it's simple. When your eyes are trained, your body does not panic. You're not guessing. You're not reacting late. You already have a plan. And that is why some players look calm, while others sound like this on the field.
Police! Help! Police! Help! Police! Help!
Once your eyes start working for you, you stop memorizing plays, and you start understanding concepts. And this is where things get really good. Because when you know the why, you can communicate clearly. Knowing where to line up helps, but knowing why you're lined up is what really changes everything. High IQ players, they don't only just know their assignment, they understand the purpose behind it. And that's a bar. But for real, man, they know what the play is trying to attack, who it's trying to stress, and what the defense is trying to take away. And to be honest, man, when I played football, I only understood my assignment. And honestly, didn't really care about anything else. And it really affected my playing time when I was young, especially my sophomore year. If I put the extra work in to know others' assignments and concepts, I could have been a better player for my teammates, could have been a better leader. If you take one thing away from this, I hope it's this, man. Know the why. Because when you do, communication becomes effortless. And you especially don't sound unsure in the huddle.
Now we go.
Another thing that happens is you don't look lost before the snap. You can point things out, confirm adjustments, and calm teammates down because you actually understand what matters. Communication is trust in real time, and coaches notice players who can fix things on the field without looking to the sideline every play. And when you truly master this, The game only feels fast if you're reacting instead of anticipating. Because look, reaction makes football feel chaotic. Anticipation makes it feel controlled. Like, look at this Tyler Shuck throw right here. He anticipates the linebacker dropping into the zone, and he throws it a little bit shallower so Chris Olave can come underneath it and get the first down. Smart players like him recognize what's likely to happen before it even happens. Coverage tendencies, down and distance clues, personnel groupings. Once you start seeing these patterns, the game slows down without you ever running faster. Another situation here. Jalen Hurts looks off the safety, anticipates that the safety is going to bump over to the left side, and he throws an absolute bomb. And that's why average athletes sometimes look elite. Don't get me wrong. Jalen Hurts is far from average. But you get what I'm saying. They're not quicker physically. They're quicker mentally. And coaches love this because anticipation removes mistakes before they even happen. And consistency, it builds trust. But trust me, man, anticipation doesn't just come from watching film. It comes from how you study it, which is actually our next habit. Habit number 4. And sorry, guys, I forgot to say learn to anticipate and not react was actually habit 3. I was just such in a flow state, man. But that's what happens when you learn to anticipate and not react. But for real, though, let's get into habit 4. Asking better questions in the film room. Most players, they just sit quietly. Not because they understand everything, but because they're afraid of sounding dumb. And I was once there too, man. I just remember just sitting in the back of the film room, just nodding my head, writing nothing down, and walk out just as confused as I walked in. High IQ players, they don't do that. They ask better questions. They actually are not scared to ask questions. And the questions they ask aren't just surface level. They don't say, did I do good? But instead they ask, what should my eyes be on first? Not, was this right? But instead, what tells me this coverage is coming before the snap? How do I read this better, coach? These simple questions show ownership. They show awareness. And more importantly, they tell your coach you're actually trying to learn the game. Not just survive the meeting or survive during practices or during the film session, man. Coaches aren't listening for confidence. They're listening for clarity. And when you have clarity and confidence, it goes a long way. Because a good question tells them you understand the structure of the play, even if the execution wasn't perfect. And now here's the key. Asking better question only works if you're willing to accept the answer. And constructive criticism is what you're going to get more times than not. Because once the film gives you the truth, there's only one way to respond. And that response leads directly into the habit players mostly avoid. And it's reviewing mistakes without emotion. You got to be able to take constructive criticism, not only in football, but in life. If you want to get better, you're going to need to be able to sit there and listen to what your weaknesses are so you could turn them into strengths. Not even just that, man, just learning from, not necessarily being perfect because nobody's perfect. But look, man, high IQ players, they don't just hide from reps. They rewind them. They separate effort from execution. Mistakes aren't the only problem. Repeating them is. It's like doing the same things over and over and over again, knowing it's wrong. To me, that is the definition of craziness, insanity. Trying the same stuff when it's not working. Just look at the Eagles film. But for real, man, repetition happens when emotion gets in the way of learning. Smart players treat film like information, not judgment. They look for patterns instead of excuses. And that's how they quietly eliminate errors while everyone else keeps making the same mistakes. And look, consistency, it's the fastest way to earn a coach's trust. So apply all of these 5 habits, man, and I promise your game's going to go to the next level.
Most players never learn these habits, and that's exactly why they stay stuck. And honestly, talent gets praise, effort gets attention, but most of all, these habits make the game slow down. Not just for my players out there, but for my fans out there too. You actually understand what's going on. Subscribe, hit that like button if this video helped you out. Check out my previous video on how to really get in the game. Not just, building habits, but building trust, man. But hey, man, I'll see you in the next one. God first and God bless.